I want you to think about the last time your dog looked up at you for no reason at all. You probably smiled and moved on, but if you knew what was actually going through their head in that quiet second, you'd understand something about your dog you've been missing for years. I'm counting down the 5 things scientists have figured out about how your dog actually sees you, starting at 5 and ending with the one that changes everything. Number 5. They were born already knowing how to read you.
Yeah, you're in there. Good job, Mommy.
I'm sure you have heard people say that cats think of us as just big cats, and that to a cat, we are really nothing more than a strange, oversized member of their own kind. It is tempting to believe the same thing about dogs, that they look at us and see some kind of taller, clumsier version of themselves. But I promise you, it is not true. When your dog looks at you, they are not seeing another dog, and they never have been. Dogs and humans have lived side by side for about 14,000 years. The oldest proof we have is a grave found in Bonn Oberkassel, Germany, where 2 humans were buried with a puppy that had survived a brutal illness called canine distemper. A sick puppy was useless for hunting or protection in a world where every scrap of food mattered. But someone fed that dog anyway, kept it warm through the cold nights, and nursed it back to health for weeks. When that puppy finally died, they couldn't bear to leave it behind, so they buried it with their own family, like one of their own children. That kind of love between people and dogs is older than farming, older than writing, older than almost everything we think of as human civilization. Something changed in dogs during those thousands of years next to us, and a scientist at Duke University named Brian Hare figured out what it was, with an experiment so simple it almost sounds like a joke. He pointed his finger at one of 2 cups with food hidden under one of them. Your dog, even a puppy who has barely met a human, will follow that finger and find the treat almost every single time. A chimpanzee can't do it. A wolf raised gently inside a human home from birth can't do it either. Only your dog can. Your dog didn't have to be taught to read you before you ever brought them home, before the first walk, before the first night they curled up against your legs on the couch. Their tiny bodies were already built to look for you, trust you, and love the sound of a human voice saying their name. The work was already done inside them long before you ever met. They were waiting for you their whole life, and you were waiting for them too. You just didn't know it yet. So if their body was built to find you, what happens to that body the second you walk out the door? Number 4. Your scent lives in the love center of their brain.
This will provide a sense of their mentation, as well as provide insight into the patient's gait and posture.
You pick up your keys, and somewhere in the house, your dog's ears lift. They follow you to the door. Some pace, some whine, some just sit and stare at that door long after you're already pulling out of the driveway. For years, people called this separation anxiety and treated it like a small behavioral problem. The real answer is a lot sadder than that, and a lot more beautiful. A neuroscientist named Gregory Burns at Emory University wanted to know what was actually happening inside a dog's brain when their person wasn't there, so he taught dogs to lie perfectly still inside an MRI scanner so he could watch their brains in real time. Then he showed them 5 different smells: their own scent, a strange dog, a familiar dog, a stranger human, and a person from their own home who wasn't in the room. Only one smell lit up the reward center of their brain, the same part that glows in you and me when we think about someone we love. Think about what that means the next time you leave the house. When you're gone, you're not really gone to them. You're still there, in the pillow on the couch, in the shirt you left on the floor, in the air of the room you just walked out of. They hold on to you with every sense they have until you walk back through that door, and the moment they smell you again, the love center of their brain quietly lights up like a candle being relit after a long, dark night. If this is changing the way you see your dog right now, hit like and subscribe, because this is the kind of stuff we cover on this channel. The next thing I want to show you is one of the strangest discoveries of all. Your dog may be reading your face in a way most people in your life never have. Number 3, they read your face better than most people in your life.
You feel like talking? You want to talk?
There's a good chance your dog is watching you right now, even if it looks like they're sound asleep. Some part of them is quietly tracking the smallest changes on your face, things you don't even realize you're doing. You wrinkle your forehead when you're worried. Your jaw tightens when you're tired. Your shoulders drop a little when you're sad. and your voice gets thinner before you cry, even when you never actually end up crying. Your dog has been reading those signals on you for as long as they've known you, and they've been doing it without anyone teaching them, without anyone telling them why it matters. So when you come home after one of those long, awful afternoons and your dog won't leave your side, they didn't guess that something was wrong, and they didn't get lucky. They read it on your face the moment you walked in, smelled it on your skin, and heard it in the small crack in your voice when you said, hello. Then they made a choice that had nothing to do with food or play or any of the things people usually think motivate a dog. They chose to come sit with you because they couldn't stand the idea of you being sad in that room alone. That quiet decision was only half of what they were saying, because their tail was already telling you something you were never taught to read. Number 2, their tail is something you've been missing. We've all heard that a wagging tail means a happy dog, and that's not exactly wrong, but it's missing almost everything that actually matters. A team of scientists in Italy filmed dogs from above while showing them different things: their owner, a stranger, a cat, and a big, unfriendly dog. The tail gave everything away. When the dog saw its owner, its tail swung to the right. When it saw something scary, the tail flipped and swung to the left. Every single time. The happy side of the brain controls the right side of the body. The fearful side controls the left. And the tail was telling the truth their mouth never could. So the next time you walk through your front door and see that tail swinging hard to the right side of their body, just know that's their brain saying out loud, in the only way it can, that the person they love most just came home. The play bow works the same way. You've seen it 1,000 times. Front end low, back end up, dropped right before a game or in the middle of one. That bow is a promise. It's saying, whatever I do next, even if I bite a little too hard, even if I knock you over, I'm playing. Trust me. Your dog has been making promises to you for years. A head turn when things get tense, a slow yawn when they want you to calm down, a glance back over the shoulder to check you're still there. They've been talking to you every single day of their life, waiting for the day you finally start to listen. But all of that watching and quiet talking has been running on top of one thing that ties the whole bond together. And it's the reason this list ends where it does. Number 1, you share the same chemical bond as a mother and her newborn. In 2015, a team of scientists in Japan put pairs of dogs and their owners in a quiet room together for about 30 minutes. Then measured a chemical called oxytocin in both of them. Oxytocin is the chemical that floods a mother's body the first time she holds her newborn baby. It's the chemical that makes a parent love a child so deeply they would walk through fire without thinking twice. The chemical that builds the strongest bond a human body is capable of feeling. The dogs and owners who spent the most time looking into each other's eyes had the biggest rise in oxytocin. And it happened in both of them at the same time. Not from petting, not from play, not from feeding or hugging or anything we usually think of as affection, just from a look. When the same scientists tried the same experiment with wolves and the humans who had raised them from tiny pups, nothing happened. The wolves wouldn't hold the gaze, and nobody's oxytocin moved at all. Something changed inside dogs across thousands of years that never changed inside any other animal on Earth. They quietly found the door into the system that makes humans love their own children. And without anyone realizing it, they walked right through it. When your dog looks at you, their brain is releasing the exact same chemical that binds mothers to their babies. And when you look back at them, yours is doing the same thing. It's not in your imagination, and it's not wishful thinking. It's a real, measurable thing happening inside both of your bodies every single day you spend together. So when you put it all together, the fact that your dog was born already able to read you, the way your scent lights up the love center of their brain, the way their eyes learn to study your face and no one else's, the way their tail tells the truth their mouth never could, and the way their body shares the oldest bonding chemical we have, you start to see what they actually see when they look at you. Your dog doesn't tolerate your presence, and they don't just accept you as part of their world. You are the scent that lights up their brain. You are the face their eyes were built across thousands of years to read. You are the one gaze that can pull the oldest bonding chemical in their body to the surface just by meeting their eyes. When your dog looks at you, they're not seeing a human, they're not seeing an owner, and they're not even seeing what most people would call a friend. They're seeing the one face their whole body was built to find. And every single day they spend with you, they quietly find it all over again. That's what you really are to your dog. The one safe place in the whole world that they get to come back to every single night, and the one face that has made every long, hard, ordinary day of their life worth living. So tell me in the comments, what does your dog do that makes you feel like you're home to them?